Overall, it's been really good. It's been very, it's a learning experience, I guess you should say, I could say. Um, yeah.
Well, I've been here since before they had this building here. It was a little bit smaller they had here. And before then, that's what I knew about the lighthouse. It was a close-knit group, a lot of good people. I met a lot of good friends here. Obviously, they moved on, they graduated from Haskell. And since then, I've been meeting new people here with the new building as well, learning a little bit more about different people from different cultures here at the lighthouse. I had a really good time here at the lighthouse. I met a lot of good people, and I've been able to stay here within the building with my wife and my little kid. And I hope that this place can become something more like that, to bring in more families, more students.
Yeah. The Haskell Light Ministry has really helped us grow as a family and has helped our family in a lot of ways. You know, I think where we are now has a lot to do with the Haskell Light, with the resources they've helped us with helping us move, with helping our family. Like when you're up here and at Haskell, you're just by yourself, and starting a new family is really hard. But having the help of Haskell Light has kept us here and has helped him finish his education and has helped me on the road to my education.
Right.
So we're very grateful for the Haskell Light.
That you realize when you walk into the lighthouse, and my girls have expressed this and other people have expressed this, is when you walk in the building, it's peaceful. You feel safe. That's something that you don't get, a lot of places. It's friendly. And then coming in with other natives and feeling that you're secure to be who you are, I think is a real draw for this particular building and this ministry, because that's something that's very hard. If you don't come from a native background and you don't realize that, it's very hard for people who are native to feel that kind of security sometimes. So to have a place to come and where you feel you can be yourself is a huge impact on this campus and on the community as a whole, I think. I think as far as for me, it's made me become more involved in the Native community as far as from a Christian standpoint, where I wasn't before, because there was such a separation. Going to church on Sundays, I wasn't then seeing people, of a Native background, and so there was just not that connection. And now with the Lighthouse, there is, and I'm able to share what I love about being Lutheran and I love about the Lutheran faith with people that may have never had that opportunity. So I feel that's been huge as far as, in my life. As far as my girls, my family, it's given them a sense of family that coming from their background, they were kind of lacking. And so that has been huge for them. And the fact that they get to meet other Indians from different tribes, because we're all different. I mean, you cannot put an Indian in one compartment because there's so many different tribes and so many different backgrounds and traditions. And so it's opened up to them different, opportunities that they might not have as far as experiencing different traditions and a way of culture. Participating in different activities that we're able to hold here, just because the way the facility is, it's just a great facility to be able to do some of these things. You have to understand Native American communities, and you have to understand where some of these kids come from. They come from conditions that in your wildest dreams, you can't imagine that somebody has to go through that. And so even just to get to Haskell, it's an escape for them. And then to come here and then find out that they have a place that's safe, that they are loved no matter what, that they have someone they can talk to, they have some place that they can get food. You know, a lot of these students, you know, you don't realize what that means to them. Being able to come over and just have a safe, quiet place. Just quiet. That in itself, I mean, if we can just do that, then that's everything to some of these kids.
I worked with Lutheran Indian Ministries by bringing in Sacred Ground, which is a ministry within the ministry, if you would, that deals with the wounds of the heart. And what Sacred Ground does is address those wounds. We're breaking the silence and restoring relationships. What I mean by that is breaking the silence. So many of our Alaska Native American Indian people have been silent so long about the abuse that's going on in their lives and in their communities or on the reservations. And that pain for a lot of the Native Americans is the fact that they've been abused. I'm not saying all of them have, but there's a high percentage because we are 6% the national average for child sexual abuse and 4% higher than the national average for suicide. And what is that telling you? That's telling you that, or telling me that there's something going on within our communities or on our reservations that we're not dealing or addressing. And what people are doing, our organizations are doing, is putting a Band-Aid on it. So they're looking at the symptom, the drugs, the alcohol. And what we're doing for a Sacred Ground is looking at the cause, the root cause. What's below the symptom? What's driving them to drink, to take drugs, or even to commit suicide? And it's the story that's within us. Sacred Ground is actually showing us how to have relationship. It's given us a place where we are open and honest with each other. And so that's where you can call it a program if you want to. But it's more about relationships. So what we're doing with Sacred Ground is we're inviting people in, and it can be anywhere from 6 to 100, and it doesn't matter how many. But when we invite them in and share, and to participate in the program, then I'm able to do a presentation, which is about a half-hour presentation, and I weave my story within that presentation, and it could be a message, a sermon. And as I weave my story in it, it gives them permission now to talk about theirs. And then what we do is we break into groups. We break into a smaller group where there's confidentiality, there's safety, there's connection. And so as we do that, people are now safe to tell their story. And we have a couple facilitators that facilitate those groups so they can steer the group in the direction it needs to go and to be able to encourage the participants to go where they would like to go. But no one's forced to share their story. It's all invitational. And our facilitators are the first ones to share their story and connect it to the topic that they just heard or the presentation they just heard. There's a freedom in it, and they have such a connection with Christ that they never knew there was this freedom and this hope that was out there. They were raised without any hope, without any direction, and as they're looking for it and they're searching for it, it's been right before their eyes all this time. It's been the gospel, it's been Christ that shares that relationship. When Christ picked out the disciples, this is what we're doing, is we're making disciples with Sacred Ground. We're teaching them how to walk this out. So now when they go into their community, to their loved ones, to their homes, they can share this. And they can disciple their husbands, their wives, their friends, their families. Here at Haskellite Ministry, we have an ideal place because we have different Native organizations from all over America going to school here. And at the ministry here, we are offering it to the students, or want to offer it to the students, but right now we really don't have the whole facility, if you would. We have a facility here that we could do some presentations, but we don't have any breakout rooms. We don't have any group rooms, if you want to call them that, or grace groups, to hold grace groups, or even talking circles. So we need to be able to expand Haskell Light Ministry so we can have those rooms. We don't even have any offices for the people that work here. So it's not conducive for the program, but we are in collaboration with the Haskell Life Ministry, where we're able to use a building next door that's run by the Baptist Church, and they give us those rooms so we can have the breakout groups. So it's been a great collaboration with them, and that we can share this with the students, so the students can heal, so they can start to share their story. They can have a voice again, and they can realize what they went through. They're not the only ones. And what they went through, it doesn't have to define who they are. We allow Christ to define who they are. And we do that just by loving on them and encouraging them. And at the end of the week, there is so much joy. We hope and pray, that this takes hold with them, because there's a high rate that it does, and that they're able to share it with others, but it brings them to the cross. It brings them to Christ. So that's Lutheran Indian Ministry's Sacred Ground kind of in a nutshell. And we are traveling to other reservations and helping, but right now at Haskell Light Ministry, we're trying to get it off the ground so the students have a safe place to come to share their story.